everybody on Wire. It's Cari McGee, and the wonderful Debbie Holloway asked me last week to come on here this week because she is winging her way to the Teams event in New York City. Everybody be jealous because New York City is awesome. Debbie asked me to go ahead and kind of give a how-to on how to R&D my Zillow versus reality study that my husband and I put together and distributed to the newspaper and the radio and the television stations locally, and got a lot of great positive press and responses from that. And then really went nuts on Facebook. There was lots of sharing and things like that. So it was a really positive experience, and it can absolutely help you to be the knowledge broker in your community. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and start to talk about how we did our study, and then how we distributed it, and tried to get maximum results with that. Hey, Carolyn and Teresa, thanks so much for watching. Okay, so number one, we first decided, and I've got my notes here, which is why I'm going to be looking there every so often. The first thought that we had was the pain point around it is that Zestimates are bad, and many consumers don't know that, because I think we all have experienced the call from the homeowner or the seller protesting at a listing presentation. Zillow says my home is worth X. And it's like, well, okay, that has no basis in anything real, but they think it does. Perception is reality. So we had to combat that. So we thought, it's easy for us to toss off a line like, Zillow's never been in your home. Okay, but we need real stats to back that up, especially when you're dealing with certain types of clients who very much need that kind of data, like high C clients are all into data. So we needed to have numbers to back that up. So what we decided to do was go pretty long and in depth. We could have done 50 or 70 homes. We could have done just a neighborhood. We could have done just a couple months, but we actually decided to do it Tri-Cities wide. I live in the Tri-Cities area of Washington State, and that encompasses 3 main cities: Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco. There's also a 4th kind of major city called West Richland. And so in the Tri-Cities area, mostly those 3 cities, but then West Richland, and then there's other cities, Benton City, Burbank, outlying communities. We're about 3.5 hours southeast of the Seattle market, and we're about 2 hours and 2 hours southwest of Spokane, and about 3 hours straight over and up a little bit from Portland, Oregon. So that's where we are. Our market, our average dollar sale in our market is right around $300,000. And I've been selling real estate here for 16 years. So that's a little bit about me and my community. And what we decided to do was really go in depth, find out not just for 3 months, because that's a season, and we started it in January. So if we went January through April, then that would really just get a little bit of the warmer time frame, even though our market is mostly, the season is usually April through October when we have the lion's share of sales. So we really wanted to capture some of that hotter market time period. So we went for 5.5 months, from the middle of January until the end of July. We every night took a look at the houses that had closed that day on our MLS, and we compared it to the Zestimate on Zillow. Now, it's important to get there as soon as possible, because I believe the Zestimate changes once you go ahead and once it's recorded as having sold. And when Zillow gets a hold of that information, the Zestimate can change. So it's really important to go in as soon as possible after closing of a home to check what the Zestimate is right then. So we ran, like I said, 5.5 months. We tracked it in Google Sheets, and we decided to overwhelm people with content. People and media respect and trust something that's very, very thorough. you can go ahead and send out a postcard. You can send out just a quick piece of paper with some stats. And that's, of course, very helpful and good for your clients, and they'll respond positively to that. But when you overwhelm them with data, they're like, holy cow, number one, these people took a lot of time to compile this data. And number two, I surely should look at this and trust because they went to a lot of trouble. So I wish it was an easier, sort of faster fix, but for us, we found that that really was a key component of it. It's a pretty big study. We also did that for SEO purposes. We released this report online on my website, and so we drove a lot of traffic to the website. And the more pages you have bringing things back to the website, of course, the greater your SEO capabilities are, and the more eyeballs you have on your site. So we set a release date of August 7th. We made a list of all the local and regional media, primary, secondary outlets, etc. And then on August 1st, we sent out a, oh, hey, Karen and Joan and Carol. We sent out the press release to the press, and I'm going to go ahead and upload, I think, let me see if I can, no. Okay, I will send it, or I'll put it in comments what the press release said. My husband used to work for the local. He was a sportscaster and a newscaster before that. He has his degree in broadcast communications, and so he knows how to do press releases and all of that kind of thing. And so it was really very helpful to have him create this with me. And so we sent out a press release on August 1st to all the surrounding media outlets and put an embargo on it. I was kind of nervous because we included a link to the study so that they could read it and they could find out more about it. But it was just for them to see it, and then there was an embargo on it, and an embargo means they can't actually broadcast or talk about the information in the story until the release date, which we set as August 7th, and it was 6 a.m. on that date that we let it go live. But I was freaking out that somebody would like scoop us, or they would get some, you know, like some other agent would get the information somehow, and then it would all be for naught. So, you know, but I think I've been watching too many movies like set in newspaper rooms, and that's why I thought that way. So we sent it out, like I said, August 1st. I told everybody that it would be live on August 7th. And that way we gave everybody time to get a reporter out, to talk to us, to interview us, and have their stories ready for the actual release date. And then the radio station called me right away. A local paper in Oregon replied via email. We sent outreach again on August 5th. If nobody had responded before, then we reached out to them on the 5th saying, hey, we've got this story that's going to go live on the 7th. Do you want in on this? And then we have one monthly paper called the Tri-City Area Journal of Business, and TCA, what is it? Tri-City Area Journal of Business. TCJAB. JOB responded after August 7th and did a story later because they're a monthly paper. And actually that got incredible press and incredible reaction as well. And so don't be afraid to make sure that even if it's past that release date, don't be afraid to interact with media, because it will still, I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I keep getting a ton of great feedback from this. We promoted it on social media on the 7th. We featured it on the homepage. We did a brief video on YouTube, and I posted throughout the day with the link to the radio spot that talked about us. It was covered on Kona Radio all day on the 7th. It was covered on the television evening news that night, and another TV station. It was on the radio station's website all day. It was the top video on the TV station's website for 2 days. Like I said, it was covered by the Tri-City Area Journal of Business in their September issue, so that had longevity into September. We had 5 great inbound links, and it really caught fire on Facebook, where apparently it was one of our most popular organic posts shared by local homeowners plus real estate agents in and outside of the area. And we're super grateful, of course, to have them to do that, because they just really recognize the value of that data. And when you have other agents sharing another agent's info, then you know you have really great info. And then also, I don't think we talk about this a lot in real estate, but we should. So much of our jobs is interacting with other agents, right? And you want to be the knowledge broker, obviously, for your clients. You want your clients to call you. You want everybody to call you because you're the agent who knows what's going on and knows everything about the market, right? That's the entire reason, one of the reasons we did this study. But what I love about this too is I've discovered that other agents are now looking at me as, oh my gosh, you're Cari McGee. You did that study about Zillow. First of all, congratulations or good job. Or, well, Cari, you know about this. Or if they're bringing me an offer and they're like, well, as you know from your study, you know, it's X, Y, and Z. So that's really important when you're working with other agents. I mean, this distribution was so wide and so vast that not only, like I said, did it get on the media, but it positively influenced how other agents looked at working with me. So that was a bonus that I don't think we had expected. We did a Facebook ad to keep it alive. We thanked the local media, offered to be the ongoing real estate source. That was critical. After the stories were broadcast, we wrote to everybody who did do a story and said, thank you so much for your coverage. And if you ever have additional real estate questions, I am glad to be your go-to source. You know how to get a hold of me. You know that we're, you know, I didn't say this, but they know that you're a good interview, right? They know that you have tons of information at your fingertips as shown by the study. And we use it in our monthly newsletter that we send out to our clients. And really, you guys, we can use it further in organic posts. This study is the gift that keeps on giving. And I think I've said that before, but it's really, really imperative that you see it as, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work to get it going, but holy cow, you guys, we're going to be able to use aspects of this for months. We have our marketing kind of set in one sense because we're not going to have to do anything major like this for quite some time. So that's what I have regarding all of this. Questions for me? Anybody? In the meantime, I am going to go over and grab the press release that we created so that you guys can see that, and you can absolutely R&D it to your heart's content, because that's the name of the game, right? All right, is that too long? All right, I think I put it there, hopefully. Oh, no, I put it in the title. Hang on, guys, sometimes I'm technically challenged. Okay, why is this not going anywhere? Okay. All right, I don't know what's going on now. Hang on. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Let me see. All right, I don't know if it showed up at all for you guys or not. Oh, it did. Now I can, there it is. All right. Did she, Karen says, would you believe that Barbara Corcoran did this exact same thing with the Corcoran report? I believe it, and that's super awesome. And it really is a fantastic resource to be able to, you know, look at that data and compile that data. If you guys have a problem compiling data, like I'm really lucky. Again, my husband was in broadcasting. He's my marketing director. He put the report together. But if you have trouble, like if you're like, oh my God, I can't possibly, Fiverr, hire somebody. Hire somebody who knows how to do website stuff just for that. And you're going to want to make sure that your stories are, or that the report, if you guys have ever looked at it, it's really critical that it be full of not just data, but pretty data, because again, if we're talking about personality types, right, the high C's are going to go, oh my God, data, and they're going to dive right in, and they're going to be all excited, and they're going to see charts and graphs, and they're going to be, you know, just thrilled to pieces, right? But a driver is just going to want to know the information, thank you, which is why we have one page entitled Key Takeaways. If they read nothing else, if they read the key takeaways, that gave them the gist of the information, and that was enough. And of course, for the high eyes in the group, hello, they're going to be all excited because we put lots of pretty, this is going to make high eyes sound super airheady, but we put lots of pretty colors in there, and big bold font and italics, and so, you know, they're like, oh look, pretty colors. So anyway, my point is we had something for all the personality types, because also high S's just want to know how they can help everybody in the D, S, or the D, I, and C groups. So Gigi, yes, we absolutely did Google Ads, I am sure. My husband did not mention it on the presentation, or he has a list of notes. He's going to do a presentation on this because he also works in, or he does presentations for marketing companies. And there's no mention right now of Google Ads, but quite possibly. I'm sure. That's a great question, though. I will double check with him and get back to you on that. My husband is not for hire. Sorry, Carolyn. He actually, no. He's just working with me at this point, so sorry. But yeah, he's pretty awesome. And one thing, it's funny, and this is, again, totally off topic, but you know, we met in college in 1987. So 32 years ago. And when we met, I had no idea that I would be a real estate agent and that he would know as much as he does about SEO, because SEO wasn't even a job then. So it's just kind of crazy how life takes you, right? Or where life takes you. So, all right. Any questions from you guys? Anything else that anybody wants to know? I'll try to help. Yeah, I did get, it looks like I was able to get the press release as a comment. So look there and just R&D that if you are trying to think of doing something like this yourselves. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. I think I'm just going to go, unless we have a couple more questions in a couple more minutes, I'm just going to go ahead and hop off. But overall, fantastic thing. And if you can do it, do it. It's helpful if you have someone who is a little bit more analytical, because then they can look at the study or they can look at the numbers without, you know, eyes rolling in the back of their heads. But if you can't, I mean, obviously all of us have access to this data. We can do averages in our head. We can, we have, you know, calculators and computers who can do the figures and figure out, you know, percentages, et cetera. Heck, we're good at figuring out percentages because we have to figure out commission, right? So you guys, it's totally a doable project. And I cannot stress enough the positive press that's happened as a result. And oh, funny, I wanted to bring this up too. I got a email from a local appraiser who actually was funny. Which you're like, right? What? An appraiser was funny? He had written me, he said, good morning, Cari. Thank you for putting together Zillow versus reality. I have shared it with a few other real estate appraisers who share our concerns and field the same questions. Another poor Zestimate example is, and he talks about this home that Zillow has listed, the Zestimate for the home is $230,908, which is up from $225,071 in August 2019 and $197,162 in January 2019. This home was raised over 4 years ago and has been an empty lot since. And so I wrote back to him and I said, thank you. We worked hard. We feel it's so important that the consumer is aware of the discrepancies. That's a crazy example. I'll be using that in conversations with clients in the future. Would it be okay if I shared your message as well? I can say a local appraiser reached out to me if you don't want me to use your name. And he wrote back, "You can use my name. I'm not very shy on Wednesdays," which I thought was hilarious because how often is an appraiser hilarious, right? "I shared your survey with 2 appraisers in Washington State, Richard Hagar, who does a ton of litigation and special property work, and Dave Town, who puts out an appraiser email blast with over 100 followers. Hopefully this will get your survey even more attention." So again, just get the information out there, and there's no telling where it's going to go, who's going to run with it, and what the positive effect on you and your business is going to be. So thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. You are all awesome, and I appreciate the questions, and I appreciate Debbie's suggestion that I be here today to kind of fill you in on the finer points of the Zillow versus reality study. I am always available. Catch me on Facebook or email me, text me, whatever you want to do if you have more questions. And everybody go out and have a fantastic real estate day. Take care. Bye.